Welcome to Frankly Speaking. My name is Onkgopotse JJ Tawani. We're coming to you live from the SABC here in Auckland Park today, and we've turned our attention to the media transformation in our country following the celebrations of World Press Freedom Day last Wednesday on the 3rd of May. The last few years have seen some new entrants into the media landscape. The independent newspapers that used to be owned by the Irish are now owned by South African. The New Age and ANN7 also got some new owners, and of course the booming Mzansi Magic have burst into the media scene, giving some hope for some kind of media diversity. But is it enough? Is enough being done to create a diverse media ownership atmosphere? Of course, if this is not enough, we have fake news, of course, also upon us, challenging the traditional media space to compete with what one can call citizen journalism, news that just really happen by citizens taking to the streets to film, to just create their own news. Of course, someone at the eye of that storm is the new owner of Afro World View, Mzwanele Manyi, who is my guest tonight. His story has not been smooth at all. A few months after he has purchased ANN7 New Age, multi-choice signaled his intentions to remove it from his bouquet. Last week, he rebranded the group as Afro Pulse Holdings, and of course, Afro World View being the television version of it. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of this journey before we talk to him.
When I was doing Sunday Live, we started Sunday Live, they came, and that had already been agreed to. I don't know by who, but I was summoned to an office only to be told that from next month, TNA is going to take 1 week every month to do provincial TNAs.
I'm calling on everyone, if you've got any idea as to what is it that we can do better, the door is open. We are here, we are listening, and we want to do things that talk to the people that we serve. This is why we're here.
All right, that's when he was taking over the reins and inviting everyone to contribute to building this new media empire. Mzwanele Manyi is no stranger to controversy, and he's highly opinionated about the political landscape of our country. A lot of people are cautiously optimistic about his entrance into the media space. As some asking, is this a welcome development, or is this the first? I want to talk to him frankly tonight, and he's going to take us through what he's been up to. Let's go talk frankly to him. Thank you so much for agreeing to be my guest tonight.
Yeah,
I know that it's been quite a busy time, and congratulations on your new venture and the rebranding of your Afro Pulse Group and Afro World View and the new newspaper Afro Voice. Well done on all of that. But a lot of people are wondering what happened. Just quickly take us through the story without being too long on what happened to the vendor finance deal. It seems like there were some changed conditions. Let us know. You purchased the same for 450 as a vendor finance deal. Then came this multi-choice development, and then we have a rebranding situation. What happened between that time of vendor financing and now?
Right. Let's start by correcting something very quickly. You said something about Pulse. Pulse is somewhere GCIS. Here, we're talking about Afrotone Media Holdings. That's a holding company.
It's a holding company for both.
Yeah, that holds Afro Voice, the newspaper in town, and also Afro World View, the the electronic version, our 24 news channel, the channel that
Yes.
never sleeps. This is us here. So actually what happened is that everybody knows the vendor financing. It created a lot of controversy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because I didn't invent vendor financing. I found vendor financing.
Yeah.
This is a tool which is internationally acclaimed. And that's what I used. But there were all kinds of noises. But
Yeah.
you know, JJ, one thing good
Yeah.
is that I praise the living God. All the negative noises have actually worked in my favor. The first noise was the whole skepticism thrown at the vendor financing.
Yeah.
And all of that created all kinds of, I have to do something else to make sure that I get rid of the vendor financing. As I was busy with that, then there was a whole thing about multi-choice saying they're no longer going to continue with ANL7. That again, it was a God's plan for me, because then what that meant is that I then had negotiating a position with the seller to say, man, the fundamentals have changed. We now have a very definite thing, and the definite thing is that multi-choice is not renewing come August. So therefore, all the projections have become flawed. Whether I use DCF, whether I use price earnings, everything is bad. And then before you knew, then the sellers were in all kinds of things, state capture, this, that, and all of that. That, again, worked in my favor, because then it meant the goodwill of the business has come to not only zero, but negative.
Yeah.
So therefore, me as a buyer, it gave me such a negotiating position to say, guys, the projections are out, the goodwill is out, that price can be the same. And that brought the price to a comfortable number. As we sit now,
Yeah.
I do not owe them. The deal is done. In fact, the new contract...
So what was the discount? I mean, from 450 million. No, seriously.
That I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
That I'm not going to tell you. But
It was so reasonable, you were able to just pay it off.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you. This is God. I praise the living God.
Yeah, but
God
why
is
can't
on
you
my
tell us?
side.
Why is it such a secret how much you and because you are quick to tell us it was 450 million.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. They announced that it was 450 million, no
Yeah.
problem. But right now, it's done. But all I can tell South Africa,
Yeah.
I didn't go and rob a bank. So you can
Who
send
financed your deal? Because you know that we've dealt a lot with BEE, and part of the biggest headaches of young entrepreneurs to enter the space, be it media and elsewhere, is
Yeah,
the
that
issue of
is the biggest
financing.
problem.
In
I
fact,
mean,
you complained about
yeah,
IDC, that they gave you a
yes,
runaround.
yes,
So who
indeed.
ultimately financed this fantastic final deal?
Self-funded.
What self-funded meaning is your money,
Yeah.
it's your savings.
Yeah, it was done without
Are you the only
involving-
shareholder?
No, I'm not the only shareholder.
Are there silent shareholders? Because, there were lots of stories about, shareholders you see and lots of silent shareholders who were pulling the strings.
Let me tell you, JJ,
Yeah.
what I've done. What we have now,
Yeah.
Because I've been dealing with a whole range of things. I had to deal with perception issues.
Yeah.
I had to deal with reputation issues.
Yeah.
I think whether I like it or not, being in ANN7 casts some kind of not so good light on you.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure that at a shareholding level, I bring in credible people
Okay.
that are
But
going
you
to be
haven't
there
announced those
with
people.
me. I haven't announced those people.
Yeah.
They're very credible.
Yeah.
But also they are people that have not been in the space. So it's not somebody that when I say this one,
Yeah.
and then you start to give me all the skeletons.
Yeah.
It's clean people that
All
you're
right.
going to see.
But you
Clean
don't want to
people.
tell us, because part of the trouble is people are suspicious. Now, if you
Yes.
don't tell us, it doesn't help the situation.
No, well, people have always been suspicious. I can live with that. But all that is important
Yeah.
is that I've got credible partners.
Yeah.
One of these days I'm going to announce, and when
One
I
of
do,
the days you'll announce.
yes,
right.
when I do, people are going to fall on their back.
All right. What after the break, I want us to talk about whether or not the rebranding has changed the essence of what ANN7 and
Yeah.
New Age were about. But we'll do that after the break. We're talking to Mzwanele Manyi. He's a new owner of Afro Voice and Afro World View. And tonight he's going to share with us how this new entity is going to shape or shake the South African media landscape. Let's take a break.
Let's cross over live to Griselda Lewis, who is standing by at the arbitration hearings.
But I didn't think about it at the time that people could be dying.
Let's update your sports news.
Get all the dominating stories locally and globally on Newsroom every Monday to Friday from 9 a.m.
So TB continues to be the top infectious killer worldwide, claiming 4,500 lives a day. It is estimated that approximately 1% of the global population is autistic. So if you're on a medical aid, how well do you understand the benefit structure and how your medical aid generally works? And if you're not on a medical aid, have you considered belonging to one? So how much and what should you know about this condition? Is it curable? Can people living with epilepsy, for instance, play sport, drive cars, get employed? 7 million people around the world die annually as a result of tobacco use.
For Health Tip, catch Health Talk every Saturday from 9 to 10.
SABCnews.com is your one-stop digital portal to all the news you need. With a website that is easy to use on mobile, SABC News prides itself in being the primary source of public service content across multiple platforms. Watch live streams of all the big news events on the SABC News YouTube channel, which is one of the most viewed South African YouTube channels globally. And catch up on the best of SABC television and radio news. Follow breaking news on all of the SABC News social media platforms, interact with SABC News on Facebook, and stay connected on Twitter for the latest headlines and real-time updates by our reporters. SABC News, everywhere.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking with me, Nkgopotse JJ Tabane. You can follow our show on hashtag Frankly Speaking. You can also tweet us at JJ Tabane at SABC News Online. We're talking to Mzwanele Manyi. Have you dealt with the legacy issues that probably your staff, when you took over, raised? I mean, there were issues about, for example, parity of pay. There were issues of editorial independence. There were issues of, immigration and so on. Quickly, have you been able to pin all of those things down? Are you on a footing, a new footing altogether?
Yeah, again, God's plan kicked in. Then I got Home Affairs that came and raided the place and all that.
Yeah.
As we sit here and now, in fact, part of the multi-choice conditions is that whoever is bidding must be run by South African-owned entity and so on. And at the time when they made that announcement, that was not the case in my situation because there were all the Indian nationals that were there. Now, with the Home Affairs thing, that actually put that thing on a fast lane.
They left?
You
still have a lot of Indian immigrants
changed their
working.
employment conditions because then we had to change their visas into work permits.
Yeah.
So immediately they were withdrawn from all the line function roles. As we sit here and now, I've got a black African woman who is the editor. I've got a black African woman who is the deputy editor.
Okay.
The whole management is black. It's locally run.
Yeah.
The Indian nationals are finishing off. They'll be going away very soon. Right now, they're just rounding off whatever advisory and
interesting
so on.
there because Sello Motabeng on Twitter is saying rebranding alone without restructuring editorial room is not enough because censorship will continue and damage the integrity of the channel and capable journalists that you just took from ENCA will also be affected.
He's correct. He's correct. In fact, our editorial policy has changed. If you go to my guest relations...
Since the rebranding or since you took over?
Well, since rebranding. Since I took over, there was some tweaks here and there, But since rebranding, we've made fundamental shift. Everything has changed. I mean, if you go to my guest relations now, nothing will leak. they can leak that I told them that nobody is barred from here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the only media house that can boast having had Professor P.L.O. Lumumba. You know,
no, I'm jealous about that. But what I
Yeah.
don't understand
Yes.
is when you say that the editorial policy has changed. We
Yes.
had your first editor of ANN7. Remember, there's still legacy issues.
Yes.
And I'm sure people are still going to sort of say Afro View, formerly known as ANN7 for a while until they get used to the new name.
Yeah.
You know, so this new editor of the first editor, Rajesh Sundaram, says there was over-involvement of government, of the president in particular, in the editorial room. Surely that endangers integrity. Have you cleaned up your house in such a way that people would not be worried about over-interference of either your political party that you so love so much, or the government itself that is your pipeline of advertising?
Yeah. JJ, this is future. You're dragging me to the past. All of that belongs at dustbin.
Okay.
We're sitting here with two brilliant women that are leading that place.
Yeah.
We have started with a very proper lineup.
Okay.
Go to my breakfast. You'll be greeted by Flo Litoaba in the morning and Richard Inta. You know, and then the lineup goes up, and then somewhere in midday,
But,
you know.
but your own involvement, you are a very strong character, Mzwanele. I mean, you don't give up an argument easily, right?
No.
What is your relationship with the newsroom? You are the owner, right?
Yeah.
There's a newsroom, there's an editor, Mpositoli, you said, your editor of your television
I
news.
told him,
What
Paul,
is the relationship there? Can Mpo tell you to go away
I said,
when it comes to editorial decisions?
I said to Mpo, in fact, I hope she's listening now.
Yeah.
I said to her, this job will either make or break her. I said, this job, it's up to her. She has got complete carte blanche what she does.
Yeah.
So whoever she gets into to invite, it's her choice. The programming, it's her choice. Everything, she's got 100% free reign.
Yeah.
And in fact, part of what I've also done, even at the shareholding level, is to make sure that I reduce my influence.
Yeah.
You will see when we announce eventually, I've reduced my stake quite significantly so that at a shareholding level, it's other people that are going to have more influence. At editorial level, it's going to be Mpo and Mfundo Mabalane. Those are the two people, Mposto and Mfundo. They are the ones that are going to be running the show.
Yeah.
And the sooner they do that convincingly for everyone, the better for me. Then I can do other things.
The Afro centeredness of your offering. What inspired that?
I think this is, you see, in South Africa, the media narrative is very much, you know, your Western conception is, that's where it is. We wanted to say unapologetically, there is a space for Afrocentrism. We are here, we are black, unapologetically so. We want to make sure that the narrative of the Africans is properly put onto the table. In fact, we're taking a Pan-African outlook. Part of my offering is going to be Pan-African because we see ourselves as a powerhouse of Africa. You must see I've got a special projects editor there, a woman from Somalia, because we want to say our staffing, we are aiming to be an African powerhouse. So our lineup or the people that were put there must reflect the continent, not just South Africa.
All right, I want to explore that a little further after the break and also just deal with the issue about how are you going to shake the media landscape? Is it just a sort of an island here, or is there something that you're going to do to integrate? For example, the whole issue about you not earlier on not being part of the what is called the ABC, and so we'll talk about that after the break. I want to get your perception on that. We're talking to Mzwanele Manyi. Stay tuned for more conversation after the break.
The Western Cape needs national government to fulfill its mandate on ensuring a bulk water supply.
We must ensure that the city of Cape Town never confronts this particular situation again.
The ESCOM is serious about stamping out corruption, which is why the market is now beginning to accommodate us.
Looking at neighboring countries, expecting Botswana just to see partly cloudy skies with a half 34 in Gaborone.
News Today at 3 p.m. from Monday to Friday on SABC News.
Special assignment. Crime keeps the society in terror and pain. Why so?
If someone phones me, tells me, okay, look here, you need a solver. And I get you all driving, I'll take it.
What pushes normal people to be so hard, heartless, and brutally kill one another?
The other side of it could be more for their own psychological need. It might be part of a sexual fantasy that they have. It could be about power and control.
After proper investigation is followed, the perpetrator gets arrested.
There is quite a massive process. And ultimately they will pay payments. I think justice is served.
Emotional scars remain.
We would pay any price to get him back, and the sad reality is that it's gone.
Special assignment. We unravel the truth every Sunday at 21:30.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking. You can follow us on hashtag Frankly Speaking. You can tweet us at JJ Tabane at SABC News Online. On Twitter, a lot of interest, by the way, on in the interview. Somebody saying that you're not the sort of fellow who runs away from interviews. So he was expecting fireworks here. And But Mzwanele Manyi asking a very interesting question. He says, journalists across the globe have contributed immensely to unravel crimes, corruption, and maladministration. What is the agenda of your media house? And that's what I'm saying. How are you going to make a difference as Afro World View?
One of the things that we're going to do, we're going to focus on corporate corruption.
Okay.
Yeah, we see corporate...
As opposed to public or together?
We're going to do both, but we think the others are doing a good job.
Doing a good job on the rest,
so we're going to assist them with the main thing. 75% of the GDP of this country is run by corporate South Africa. Now, if you go to the Competitions Commission, you see the atrocities that are happening there. It's just unbelievable. The amount of corruption that is happening there, given all kinds of sexy names like collusion, market allocation, and all the fancy names. We are going to expose all of that. So we are going to take zero tolerance on corruption, both private and public. But we think on the public side, a lot is being done and so on, and we will still do it, but we'll do a touch-up there, but the main focus is going to be corporate corruption.
Which would be quite ironical, because a lot of people were nervous about your relationship with the Guptas. Right now they are fugitives, some of them are fugitives from the law, right? And you've just paid them money, maybe a month ago, or whenever you settled this particular deal. Would you, in terms of the state capture, be covering that state capture similarly with the same enthusiasm, including these guys who, up to last week, they were closely associated with you? They were your people who had to pay money to own these assets. Mzwanele.
We are going to run a show on corruption.
A specific show
on corruption, because we think corruption is a cancer that is eating society. We think corruption is the biggest crime. Our people on the ground do not get what is due to them because of corruption. So we take zero tolerance on corruption. So we're going to have a show on this. There is no stone that we're going to leave unturned, because what we are saying is that we see ENCA is doing whatever. SABC
but
is
you
doing,
know, Mzwanele, you know,
SABC is doing whatever.
You've been an activist.
We are going to do what is right.
You've been an activist on this. You know, as soon as you do that, you are also going to be the focus, right? So a lot of people are asking, how are you going to meet the obligations post-August in case DSTV doesn't come to the party? Because you are a contender like everybody else, right? In fact, if anything, other than changing your name, your particular establishment has already been told you are not going to get this thing, right? You've rebranded and you are now in the race.
Let me assist you. Let me assist you. What has been taken off the rails is ANN7. In fact,
which no longer exists.
We have fast-tracked multi-choice's mission. We have fast-tracked it. They said in October, we said, no, why are we taking it out now? So ANN7, the job for multi-choice is done. So the next thing now is who's going to go in there. In fact, I think all the pain, in my view, which multi-choice didn't tell me, which I could see, I think I've dealt with this pain. I think multi-choice had a problem.
And then
Wait. I think multi-choice had a problem associating with the Guptas. With ticker box, it's no longer there.
They're not involved at all.
At all. I mean, you see in the past, with the vendor financing, it could have been a legitimate issue that my shares are pledged. So until I pay off the debt, they're not yours. They are not yours because they are pledged. We don't have that now. I own these shares. People that have been invited, I've signed myself their share certificates. They've got their share certificates as receipts.
Sorry, but your business model, Mzwanele, right?
Yes.
If you look at the track record of the relationship with the SABC, right? With that new age breakfast, which was a terrible deal here, which millions not accounted for properly. If you look at the kind of skewed, especially on the newspaper side.
We used to talk about N7. This is Afro world.
No, understand, but you got to take us with you, because you can't just expect us to switch it and forget N7. I'm saying to you, for example, had a lot of business advertising on the newspaper in particular, and
no. This is the
and some people saying that it is out of proportion with the readership of that paper. Is your business model going to change so that you are not over-reliant on government business, or you've been able to keep your government business steady? I just want a clear answer on that one.
Let me give you a clear answer. The clear answer is that you are operating on a misconception. The people that are getting the lion's share of business government is Sunday Times. Sunday Times is the biggest lion's share. They are the ones. It's everybody else. If you are to go to the numbers, the new age of the time was getting crumbs. So this discussion about crumbs.
It's true, but there was an issue about the fact that when you spend as government, and you are the head of government communication at some point, you are very strict about we need to have value for money, right? So if I spend 2 million with Sowetan, can I spend 2 million with New Age if their readership is completely chalk and cheese?
Let me explain to you what I'm missing. What I'm missing is that the new age of the time, which is now Afro Voice, is a targeted publication that ensures that you don't get spillage. A lot of circulation, let's say Sowetan or Daily Sun circulation, is what I call spillage. People that buy Daily Sun, even if you were to put government ad there, who reads it? They don't even read it. They are interested in what happened
with
about
the quality, not necessarily the quantity. Is that what you're saying?
They're worried about the witchcraft in Limpopo, and so it's news that are falling on deaf ears. Therefore, the pricing model that the New Age and the Afro Voice are using, the one is quality. Everybody that picks up this paper reads this paper.
In 30 seconds, we are out of time. In 30 seconds, what will distinguish this new property, media property, in 30 seconds?
Afrocentrism. This is going to be our approach, and we're going to be unapologetically African. We're going to make sure that the African agenda takes the center stage.
Mzwanele Manyi, I wish we had more time, and we must come to a longer show so we can have a more conversation. That was Frankly Speaking, coming to you live from Auckland Park here at SABC. Mzwanele Manyi, always a fantastic interview there, and of course he doesn't pull any punches. Until we talk frankly again, may God bless you.